Howdy folks, and it's time for another dose of World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles, and today, for your viewing pleasure, we have Duetzefix, or perhaps it's Duetzefix, or Duetzefix, or Duetzefix, I really don't know. But he's in the Gneisenau, the German Tier 7 battleship, the sister ship of the Scharnhorst. Although there are some significant differences between the two ships here in World of Warships, and the most significant is those guns. The Scharnhorst has 283mm or 11-inch guns. The Gneisenau, at least here in World of Warships, has 380mm guns. These are the same 15-inch guns that you get on the Bismarck, and the Bismarck's Tier 8. The Gneisenau is only Tier 7. Now it doesn't have as many of these 15-inch guns as the Bismarck, and therein lies the difference. It does only have 6 main battery guns in 3 turrets, 2 forward and 1 aft, and, well, you know what battleship accuracy is like, and when you've only got 6 guns to fire at an enemy target, the whole principle of throwing enough shit at the wall and seeing how much of it's going to stick means that you can get wildly inconsistent results in the Gneisenau. Her sister ship, the Scharnhorst, by contrast with her 283mm guns, has a much better rate of fire, so she does throw more shit at the wall. It just doesn't hurt as much when it hits, because lower caliber guns. So why the difference between the 283mm guns on the Scharnhorst and the 380mm guns on the Gneisenau if they're sister ships? Well, in the 1942 Channel Dash, which saw Germany relocate her capital ships from French ports to more easily protected German ports, in a daylight run up the English Channel, which was successful in no small part to the staggering incompetence of the Royal Air Force. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Navy man. You need to read the story about the Channel Dash. It's an absolute disgrace. But, well, Germany succeeded. They managed to relocate their capital ships to German ports. The Gneisenau arrived in Kiel, but on the 26th of February 1942, the British managed to hit the Gneisenau in port with an armor-piercing bomb, which pierced her armoured deck and exploded in the forward ammunition magazine. The explosion actually blew the forward gun turret clean out of its turret ring mounting. The damage was so extensive that it was decided to rebuild the Gneisenau with the 380mm guns that both she and the Scharnhorst were originally intended to be fitted. Her 4 surviving 11-inch guns were removed and used as shore batteries, and work began on converting the ship to accept 15-inch guns. However, by 1943 things weren't looking too good for the German surface fleet. The Bismarck had been sunk, the Scharnhorst had been sunk, the Tirpitz was still afloat but was bottled up in the Norwegian fjords and would never see action again. Germany's heavy cruisers, the Blücher, had been sunk, the Hipper and the Prinz Eugen had been damaged. Construction had halted on the Seydlitz when it was 95% complete, and the decision was made to convert her into an aircraft carrier, although that was never completed either. The British had managed to trick the Germans into scuttling the Graf Spee at the Battle of the River Plate, and that pretty much just left the Gneisenau and the Tirpitz wasn't going anywhere. So Hitler decided to cease conversion on the Gneisenau, and the ship was basically left to rot. In 1945, still without her turrets and guns, she was towed to the harbour mouth of Gotenhafen in German-occupied Poland and sunk as a block ship. And that was it for the Gneisenau. Meanwhile, Duetzefix has had a pretty uneventful game so far. He's fired a couple of long-range shots at a couple of enemy ships. He's attempting to get a broadside into that Kirov over there, and could potentially have scored some citadels. The Kirov is not a particularly well-armoured ship, but the Kirov's disappeared. Emerald. Oh, yes, yes please, British cruisers, we'll have some of that. All 6 15-inch guns fire. The Emerald is still detected, despite the smokescreen, and 2 over-penetrations for 1150 damage. I think Duetzefix was feeling a little exposed out on this flank, considering the only backup and support he's got against all of those enemies is this Leander, but then, good guy Leander lays a smokescreen. He's not doing it for Duetzefix, of course. He started to get shot at. So he turned away, and he's just launched his 8-kilometre range torpedoes. I'm guessing, giving him the benefit of the doubt, they could be the 6-kilometre range torpedoes, and he's launched them at targets more than 12 kilometres away. Let's not expect too much from the Leander. Still, smokescreen's a smokescreen. And there's an enemy destroyer over there as well, who's dropped his own smokescreen. So, not wishing to sail headlong straight into a whole bunch of what looks like most of the enemy battleships, in fact I think all of the enemy battleships, he turns away. You can see the Leander's torpedoes there, even with torpedoes running at 61 knots and an enemy Gneisenau doing anything up to 28.8 knots in the other direction with a combined approach speed of 90 knots. They were just fired from too far away, and one by one the torpedoes run out of power and sink to the bottom before they got anywhere near that Gneisenau. Speaking of torpedoes, yes, that is an enemy smokescreen up ahead, and yes, there is an enemy destroyer in there somewhere. But his torpedoes have missed as well. Now that Gneisenau was focusing on the Auber over there, and that's why he's turned away, because he doesn't want to run into the Auber's torpedoes. And that did give Gneisenau the perfect opportunity to score some citadels, but RNG denied him. The Gneisenau still shooting at the Auber for the moment. I think Gneisenau is going to risk getting his rear gun turret around, but the other Gneisenau's gun turrets are swinging around as well. He's now going for Gneisenau, and Gneisenau's secondaries start opening up. Now pay attention to the sequence of events here. He set the Gneisenau on fire, he scored a couple of armor-piercing penetrations. The Akatsuki that's just popped up over there has finished off the Auber with his torpedoes, but you can see the Auber's torpedoes have just struck the Gneisenau, and I think 2 of them have hit. The Gneisenau is still burning, and now he's flooding as well. So it's at this point that he pulls a turn to port to get himself behind that island, and it's just as well he did turn to port and not starboard, otherwise he would have been team killed by the torpedoes launched by the Leander behind him. Yeah, don't expect too much of that guy. The Gneisenau is burning. He's sunk the Gneisenau, and he's already concentrated his secondaries on the Akatsuki, and very nearly sinks him. But did you see the Leander's torpedoes there? Let me, just in case you were paying attention to the Akatsuki, because that's where the action was, I'm just going to go back a couple of seconds so you can see what actually happened to those torpedoes. First of all, have a look at the map. Look at where the Leander is, where he's fired those torpedoes from. And now watch the torpedoes. Here they come. Just don't look at the Akatsuki, don't look at the enemy Gneisenau, watch these torpedoes. The only thing they are going to hit was either Gneisenau or the island, and they even ran out of steam before they hit the island. If I was Gneisenau, I'd be feeling very, very nervous with that guy behind me. Which basically means Gneisenau is out here on this side of the map, on his Jack Jones. I mean, he's got no backup and support. That Leander's no use to him alive. In fact, he's probably more used to him dead. Gneisenau has slightly more immediate problems at the moment, however. He didn't kill that Akatsuki, and here come his torpedoes. Cue the torpedo beats. Yeah, too slow Akatsuki, too slow for this Gneisenau. Although I'm pretty sure he'd like to know where he is, because he is spotting him. He's got to be tucked around the corner of that island to the rear. And that's a lot of enemy there he is! Get the little bugger, he's in range of the secondaries, and off they go. And the Akatsuki, on perilously low health, decides, screw this, and he pops his smoke screen. However, remember, the Akatsuki is the only one currently spotting Gneisenau, so as long as Gneisenau just holds his fire and doesn't shoot at anybody, he's going to go undetected, and there it is. Right, well, it could be a lot worse, but, well, it could be a lot better as well. He is burning, and normally if you're in a battleship and you're burning in one location, you wouldn't bother using your damage control, but, well, I'm so lonely, sitting here all on my own. So he probably figures he could use the health, and he uses the damage repair and the damage control. I mean, he's not completely alone. Oh, more torpedoes. Cue the torpedo beats. Did that Leander just try to shoot the torpedoes out of the water? Well, Gneisenau isn't alone. The Leander's here, but he probably wishes he was alone. And oh, there's the Akatsuki. Go, go, gadget secondaries. Have it. Is he moving? He's not moving. Is he moving? Fires ahead with the main battery guns just in case, but it's the secondaries who claim the kill on the Akatsuki for his first Close Quarters Expert Award. Don't worry, there's more of them where that one came from. And yes, if I was Gneisenau, I would be very, very nervous indeed with that Leander sailing so close behind me. He's already demonstrated not once but twice that he doesn't know what his torpedoes are for. And he's just demonstrated that he doesn't know what his main battery guns are for as well, so quite frankly he is not an awful lot of use to anybody alive. And oh, hang on, there's the Emerald again. Have it! Come on! Oh, Emerald turned away just in time. But hang on a minute, what's special about the Emerald? Emerald has lots and lots of torpedoes, doesn't it? And he's turned away, so he's not presenting a particularly good target. So, Gneisenau turns the nose of the ship towards the anticipated torpedo threat, and he turns the guns towards the big black broadside of this Königsberg. The Königsberg comes around the corner thinking, "Ha-ha, I have you now. Oh shit, he's got his guns pointing towards me." Broadside onto a battleship? Yep, that's a paddling. He didn't even know what hit him. That, of course, leaves the Emerald, and he's turned broadside onto the Gneisenau as well. Now, somebody just remind me, what exactly is it when you turn broadside onto a battleship in a cruiser at that kind of range? It's paddling, isn't it? Yep, paddling confirmed. Kill number 4. Next up, are we going to go for the Fuso? He's in range, but yeah, there's a Nürnberg there, he's a lot closer. We're going to go for the Nürnberg. Now the Nürnberg is sailing more or less straight towards us. So it's not impossible to citadel a Nürnberg from the front with a 380mm gun, but you need to be a damn sight closer than this because the shots, as you can see, are coming in from above. Still good enough to penetrate. And while the Nürnberg wasn't sailing broadside on to Gneisenau, he was sailing broadside on to a Congo clean over the other side of the map. So that's a paddle in for him as well. Now, at this point, Gneisenau has decided that he's getting a little bit too close to a whole bunch of big, angry enemy ships. And he decides to turn away. I mean, there's a Kirov there, there's a Fiji, the Fuso. They're all shooting at him, of course. Alarmingly, that Leander is still, well, he's not technically behind Gneisenau anymore because Gneisenau is sailing towards him. But he's still in the way of any torpedoes that Leander might decide to launch at those enemy ships 10 kilometers away. There he is. I'm keeping an eye on you, you little bugger. The Leander, of course, has not been detected because he hasn't fired his guns in the last 5 minutes, so they're all still shooting at Gneisenau until the Leander figures out what his left mouse button is for and he starts taking some shots at the Kirov. Now, he's now been revealed to the enemy team, so they all think, oh wow, British cruiser, will start shooting at him instead. The Leander naturally panics, drops his smoke screen, and Gneisenau sails right into it. So, contrary to popular belief, it turns out the Leander was useful to the team alive after all. It's only a spot of momentary relief for Gneisenau, of course, because he was going too fast to stay inside the smoke screen, even though he's slowed down to try to maximise the benefit he's going to get from it as he continues pouring fire into that Kirov. However, the Leander was going too fast to stay inside his own smoke screen, so he's still drawing some fire from all of these enemy ships. Unbelievable. Anyway, it's less ships shooting at Gneisenau for the moment, and that's all that really matters. Can he finally sink this bloody Kirov? I mean, he's taken enough shots at him. He's not. Oh, there go the secondaries. Can the secondaries get him? Go, go, gadget secondaries. Come on, secondaries, there's a hit. There's two. He's got him! Kraken unleashed with the secondaries. Now, on paper, it does still seem like a pretty close match. The points advantage isn't that great, and Gneisenau's team only have a one-ship advantage over the enemy, but have a look at the map. The remaining enemy ships, they're basically completely screwed. They're completely surrounded here, and yes, there is a smoke screen around the edge of that island over there, so expect there to be some torpedoes emerging from it very, very soon. Although it looks like there are some torpedoes heading into the smoke screen as well. It doesn't matter which way any of these enemy ships turn, they're going to be presenting the broadside of their ship to somebody because they're being fired upon from all different directions. Now that is definitely a very angry smoke screen up ahead and to the left there because it is shooting at Gneisenau, but the torpedoes that have been fired in there by the Shiratsuyu are about to flush out the culprit. It is, of course, none other than the enemy Fiji, and he's sailing broadside onto Gneisenau. And as we've probably established by now, that is in fact a paddling. Kill number 6, and the Confederate award to go with his two close quarters experts is Kraken Unleashed and his devastating strike, and 115,000 damage done. Now, let's not forget, the Fiji British cruisers, they do come with torpedoes. So he starts to turn towards them, but it turns out that he actually over-anticipated the torpedoes, and he does take one of them on the chin as he opens up at the New Mexico over there. Note that the surviving enemy Akatsuki just popped up over there, and you saw Duetsevix turn towards him. He was trying to get the secondaries locked onto that guy, but the Akatsuki disappears momentarily and then pops back up again inside secondary gun range. So he focuses the secondaries on the Akatsuki and is rewarded with his 7th kill and his 3rd Close Quarters Expert Award, and then switches them back to the New Mexico. Now, the New Mexico, like German battleships, has a turtleback armor scheme. What that means in practice is that the closer you get to it, the more difficult it is to actually penetrate the armor with your armor piercing. It's kind of vulnerable at long range to plunging fire, but there's nothing long range about this engagement. That New Mexico, however, appears to have forgotten that he's also vulnerable to something else that the Gneisenau gets, and that's the torpedoes. Oh dear. 8 kills and high caliber to go with the Confederate, the Kraken Unleashed, the Devastating Strike, and the 3 Close Quarter Expert Awards. That just leaves the enemy Fuso, and he's in torpedo range, so he fires the torpedoes from the other side. He's starting to take a lot of damage from that Fuso's 14-inch guns, however, and the Fuso does have a lot of 14-inch guns, but its secondaries aren't particularly good, and as we've probably established by now, Duetsevix's are. 23 hits so far with the secondaries, and he's set him on fire, and the Fuso has one last stab at deleting Duetsevix, but oh dear, is he really going to sail into those torpedoes? Well, of course he is, and that is kill number 9. Oh, and he's picked up a sneaky little Dreadnought medal in there as well without me noticing. He's just showing off now, isn't he? Duetsevix, or however you pronounce it, in the non-premium German Tier 7 battleship, the Gneisenau. A rather entertaining game of World of Warships there, I'm sure you'll agree. And if not, well, what are you doing watching videos on this channel anyway? World of Warships and World of Tanks are pretty much all I do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.